Westbrook does a great job of one-handed, left-handed pass. It stays deep, works on his shot. He doesn't leave.
Trent Jr. is checked in. Warriors stay with the same five starters. And Steph Curry hitting the wing jumper. Yes, drops it in that three. Oh, Curry, a little split. Steph through it. Steph with the lift. So Steph Curry, beautiful beginning. Turnover. Point comes down. Free throw with a three-point play. Curry right down the lane. How about that?
Welcome in, everybody. Tony Jigsaw Cutillo here. Already getting started a little late. That's okay, because who starts anything on time in this industry? Because there's always last minute information coming in. Again, give me a follow at TCutillo23. And the first thing you need to do is go on Win Daily Sports, go to the YouTube page, hit that subscribe button, because we have tons of content rolling every single day. And the weekends is my thing, man. Saturday and Sundays, Fantasy Firebox. This is actually episode 5 since I've joined the Win Daily team, and it's been absolutely terrific. It really has. From the DMs that I get from a normal basis to the Discord chat, and again, the optimizers and the tools that we have on windailysports.com are second to none. So please check them out. But I'm offering a little something different, right? I like to give a little fun episode every Saturday and Sunday. We're going to talk, obviously, DFS, cores, and values. Guys you want to pay up for. We're gonna have our good old fashioned going long under 4,000, where we pick some guys that we think are gonna hit home runs today, and then you guys can take those odds and hopefully cash in. And then we're gonna get a little overlooked NFL running backs. But before we start anything, oh, and secondly, I had a couple comments for the hat last week with the horseshoe, because I was wearing an Indianapolis Colts hat, and today I have a San Diego Chargers hat. I'm just going to give you guys the deep, dark secrets of why I wear these hats. I'm not a fan of the Chargers, not a fan of the Colts. I'm going to tell you why. Because when you're married, like I am, for over 15 years, you unfortunately have to go on shopping trips that you absolutely hate, right? So I can tell you right now, as an East Coast guy, one of those stores I cannot stand going into with my wife is a store called Ross. Okay, my wife always has to go to Ross or TJ Maxx, and the only reason why I hate it is because it's absolutely obliterated with people all over who I probably can't stand anyway, and there's really nothing in that store for me whatsoever except the hats. So they have a secret stash of hats. So I go in, and while she's looking at all her crap, I go over and I look at hats. And you can get hats for under $10, and these are nice fitted hats. So I'm like, you know what? Every time we go to Ross, I'm buying a hat. So I have about 30 of them. So you'll see me wearing different hats all the time. So that's where the hats come from. And the other thing I want to say is, as always, I say grab your coffee, because I'm a big coffee guy. But Wawa, go to Wawa. And I'd love to hear everybody's viewpoint. Again, we're just having a little fun before we start with these values. Free coffee days. I'll tell you what, I want to count everybody that goes to Wawa for free coffee that never goes to Wawa in their life. Honestly, it's $1.90. If you can't afford $1.90, let me know. I'll hook you up. I'll buy you a cup of coffee, because I'll tell you what, that coffee counter on a free coffee day, number one, the parking lot is already insane, and it's a Saturday, right? So everybody's running all over the place, going to tournaments, getting their rides in, going for the weekend, and then everybody's pummeled around this counter. You ashes to elbows and cheeks and no mask, no nothing, just rummaging through the sugars. And I feel bad for the workers. They're sitting there trying to clean up. And here you go, do 4 cups, the extra the extra large 24 ounces. Like, give me a break, man. Just buy a cup of coffee and get out. But I'm sorry, that's my rant for the day because I love drinking my coffee. Got my coffee right now in my Busch Gardens mug, right? Busch Gardens mug. So my buddy Mark seconded Wawa second to rate because no drive. I'll tell you, man, you're right. No Dunkin' Donuts on the fly, right? Order, get your go-to, scan the phone, and you're out. One of the best inventions ever. So Wawa got to up their game, Drum. They really do. But I'll tell you what, never going near a free coffee day again. And it sprung up on me. I didn't know, because if it wasn't free coffee, I wasn't going. I had no idea. I rolled in, I was like, damn, it's packed in here. Free coffee day. But let's get right in this MLB DFS. So again, like I always do, okay, this isn't a lineup. We talk DFS cores and values. 2 slates, 6-game slate at 4 o'clock, 7, or is it 7 and 6? Either or. You got the 6-game slate at 7 o'clock, 7-game slate at 4 o'clock. So let's go to the first half. Okay, so again, a lot of things can change, right? A lot of things can change. It's 9 a.m., 9:15. First pitch, 4 o'clock. I'm not touching the 1 o'clock game, okay, because the information is old by then. And I want you guys to have as much time as you can to formulate these lineups. So we're going to go with the 4 o'clock slate, which as obviously starts at 4:05. Baltimore, Washington, all 7 games. Let me share the screen. And Bobby checking in says, I love Wawa coffee, 20-ounce French vanilla creamer and 3 sweet and lows. See, all right. Here's what's up with the French vanilla creamer, Bobby. My wife's all about the French vanilla creamer. I'm not a French vanilla guy. Like, I'm just an old school cream and sugar cat, man. I go in and I don't even like. Here's the thing, and I don't want to get this on long-winded conversation here, but there's a big difference between the Wawa, the little coffee creamers, and the one already that they have sitting in there. The pint that you could pour in. I can't use that. I just don't think it tastes right. I gotta have, because it doesn't formulate my cup the same way. I'm not sure what it is, but I gotta get the little creamers in there as well. So yeah, listen, everybody loves Wawa coffee. I get it. I'm all about it. But the problem is, I'm not going asses to elbows in there, rummaging through the packets and trying to get it. So, oh wow, look at Mark going. He's going cowboy style, black, pure, and uncut. Oof. That's hardcore, brother. You are my hero. So let's jump right into this. We'll share the screen right here. Let's get this up. We're going to talk about the first half of the slate. This is fun, man. We're going to have some fun today. I love having fun here. All right. So obviously pitching. Let's go right for the pitching. So we have to decide, are we going to pay up? Are we going to go with value, guys? What are we going to do here on this slate, right? So listen, obviously Bieber, whatever. That's the thing. When you have a name like that, there's so many different variations. You hear one guy say Bieber, one guy say Bieber. It really doesn't matter. It's Shane, don't call me Justin, right? That's how we're going to talk about it. SB, call him SB, 11-2. Listen, that's high for me. Okay, it's really, really high for me. I'll tell you why I'm paying up in the second half of the slate and not the first half of the slate. Because I think Lance McCullers for going up against Texas, who strikes out a ton. We talk about it all the time. There's teams that I focus on, and Texas is one of them. Their strikeout rate is always in the bottom third of the league. They're always down swinging and missing. Sometimes they have a lot of I think they're third in double-digit strikeouts per team, per game. That's a big number. When you get Lance McCullers at 9,500 instead of paying up for 11-2, that's a tremendous difference to me. $1,700 is a big deal in MLB. So for me, I'm not paying up for Bieber. I'm going McCullers. McCullers is going to be my guy in this slate. That's who I'm rolling with. I'm going McCullers. I like his strikeout potential. Listen, like we always do, just pull him up. Right, you look at what he's been able to do over his we'll go last 5. They give you 6, 7, but we'll just go last 5. And the biggest thing that you look at, again, my lucky number 13. I consistently say that. What's his innings pitched? What's his strikeouts? Is it above 13? Right. Last game, he's only at 11, but The three before that, you're talking 8 innings pitched, 9 at 17, 6 and 9, 15, 7 and 7, 14, 6 and 7, 13. This guy's consistently above or at my 13 threshold. So for me, that's what I'm zoning in on. Okay. And his lowest game was 15 and a half in the past 6. Okay, so I'm not even shying away from Lance McCullers. I like what he's done, and the Houston offense is rolling, man. Let's face it. We can say whatever we want about the cheating scandal and Altuve and the trash cans and the wires. Well, guess what? He's throwing it all in everybody's face right now because he's balling out. And Carlos Correa continues to show why he's one of the top-notch bats in all of baseball. So McCullers, to me, that's what I'm rolling with instead of Bieber. I'm not paying. I'm going to keep that money. Okay, I'm going to keep that money, and I'm going to drop down. This is where I had a hard part out, right? Because I always like to give you guys a value arm, right? Sometimes we go 2 value arms. Last week, we went with 2 $7,500 numbers, and we got 50 points between the two, which was pretty impressive, right? So that's what we always have to look at. But I struggled in the beginning of this slate because there wasn't anybody that really stuck out to me. A lot of people are going to say Pablo Lopez. Listen, I'm not a big Lopez guy. I'm not a Miami guy. I always look at the team they're playing for. I can't get on board. Sorry. It is what it is. Sonny Gray. And, again, I looked at him. He's 10-4. That's not a value. We're trying to find guys that are under that $8,000 threshold for your second pitcher if you're paid up above 9. And I'm not going to go in on Matthew Boyd. I'm actually going to go against Matthew Boyd, right? So I actually went with Brady Singer. And I'll tell you why. Kansas City is a very intriguing team offensively, right? There's sometimes they come out to play, sometimes they don't. They're going up against Detroit. And Detroit is a bad team as well. They don't swing the bat well. Every now and then you get that good game. You get guys, whether it be Grossman, Shoop, they produce. Miggy Cabrera is washed. He's done. We already know that. Matthew Boyd is not the same guy we thought he was 2 years ago. So he's very inconsistent. So I'm banking all of that on this pick. Now, Brady Singer, last game, strikes out 7. He gets me that lucky 13 number, okay? Gets me that lucky 13 number. The last time he faced Detroit, 7 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, gave you 32 fantasy points. So I'm going by number 1, past performance, and number 2, I'm going against a strikeout rate, which I think, in my opinion, for Detroit is very low. Or I should say it's very high for them, which makes them low on the value chart. So I'm putting all that in perspective. I really am. Okay, now he did play, again, let me just throw this out there because I don't want guys to get the wrong information, right? So he did play Detroit 2 games ago. I should say 2 starts after the 24th, right? So again, he only went 3 innings. You see it right there. But still have 4 strikeouts. So he maybe just didn't have his command. Sometimes that happens. But that gives me even more confidence that he's going to come out against his team. He's 1-1 against them, and he's going to lay the hammer down again in this game, the second time at home in Kansas City. So he's 6,600, right? What again? When you're starting a guy at 6,600, do you really get pissed off if he doesn't blow it up? No, man. You just roll. Right, you just roll and you shake it off and you say, all right, you know what? I'm going to pick it up with the bat. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, everybody gets mad. Like, don't get mad. Have some fun, man. Let's have some fun. It's all about having fun. We're on a weekend. Man. 3 cheers for the weekend, right? Just like Rihanna said. Oh, listen, Rihanna, that's another topic for another day. But all I'm saying is, if you're going to pay off for an arm, and it doesn't, listen, you may not go with me with McCullers, right? But I'm looking at 2 opponents that are really weak at the plate. And I'm looking at a revenge game in Singer, banking off what he did two starts back against Detroit, banking off of what he did the last game he was out, and going up against a very lackluster offense. So that's the first leg. They're the 2 guys that I'm zoning in on. I always give you guys some cores, right? So these are the core arms. So I'm going to go with McCullers and Singer. They're going to be my 2 guys at the top. Now, when we talk about, our cores at the plate, so this one to me was, I wouldn't say easy, okay, but It wasn't very hard. How's that, right? So I don't want to say it's easy. Nothing's ever easy. Very hard sounds a little more professional. Sounds a little better, right? So we want to zone in on certain games. And again, I have a lot of luck with big time lumber when it comes to the Cincinnati Reds. And I love banking on. And again, I know this is why we play DFS, because we don't look at averages. And if you look at a guy like Suarez, who's batting 154, everybody's like, what the hell would you start him for, right? So you just go with Cincinnati and you just look. And right away, you're 5,300. Somebody will just go in there, they're going to click on his name, right? And they're going to go, see, I was right, 154. But he has 9 home runs. So that just says you need to pick your spots. You need to pick your games, right? Pick your smart games, your smart plays. When you want to play Suarez, it's when does he have the ability to go along, right? So I think this matchup is good for Cincinnati against Anderson of Milwaukee. I really do. I think I don't think it's stack potential, but I think you could take a couple guys out of this, either one as a value play or number one as a guy that you're going to put as your core. And for me, I'm going to take Nick Castellanos out and put him as my core. So he's going in as my core today. I love his numbers, man. I love his game this year. Even when Cincinnati's not rolling, he finds a way to get on the board. It's not very often. I say this again. Nick Castellanos is not a guy who's going to steal bases. He's not a speed guy. We know that. Look at his build. You already know that. But the great thing about him is he hits so high for average, and his strikeout rate is very, very low. And listen, I know he struck out 3 times the last game, but if you look 0-1, 0-1, he's not a huge strikeout guy. And that's tremendous when you talk about big lumber, because you have to look at this as a fantasy perspective and say, even though he's a big lumber guy, he's always going to give me points. And this is what he does, even when he's not hitting home runs. 5.8, 5.8. Listen, 5.8, 5.8. I'm in. Because here, listen, we talked about this in nauseum over the past couple weeks. When you throw in there, a perfect example is a guy like Vlad Guerrero. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a beast, but if he's not hitting a home run, he's not hitting for extra bases, he's giving you that big fat 0. And you're paying $6,000, $6,300, right? So when you have a guy and you're paying $6,000 and he's not hitting for average, man, that 0 really hurts. It really hurts. But you get a guy like Nick Castellanos who's able to at least give you a 5 spot. Then at least you're salvaging something, right? Even if you look and you go past, look, how many 0s do you see for Nick Castellanos in the month of May? One, which means he's consistently getting you points. So today, for me, my core starts with Nick Castellanos. I love Castellanos today. I love it. Hip Hop Hooray. It's a weekend. Yay. Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Bobby, you just mentioned Hip Hop Hooray, man. And again, I'm a big hip hop guy. Right? I'm a huge hip hop guy. For anybody who follows me knows I am a resident hip hop guy, and I'm here in Naughty by Nature. I'm here in Tretch, right in my mind right now. I don't know if I want to feel the flow or I want to go hip hop hooray, or maybe we're going to dip down into the juice category and go Uptown Anthem, because I'll be living that as well. So you just gave me some really good tunes to listen to when it comes to music. So it's the weekend. Yeah, exactly. I can watch that video all day. Class of 94. There you go. Oh, class of 96 right here, Bobby. Class of 96. But yeah, I'll tell you what, the 90s, I don't know if you're a music guy, but the 90s, I don't care what anybody says, is locked down the best era in music of all time, especially when you come to hip hop. I could do hip hop shows all day long. So now you got the juices rolling. You got the blood boiling, Bobby. I'm all in with the hip hop talk. So I love it. Let's hit. We got to figure out a way going forward with the fantasy firebox to kind of to insert some hip hop into the talk, to where, you know, we have some DFS plus music talk. I like it. Wu-Tang Killer Bees, baby. Wu-Tang all day. United, enter the 36. Come on, man. Let's get it. 100%. So let's get back to the core. So we got Castellanos, who's going to start our core. And then I'm going to go Juan Soto. And I'll tell you why. again, we got to look at pitching matchups, right? We have to look at pitching matchups. That's how you win, right? That's how you win. So if you just click on, try to help you guys out. I want to show you guys what I'm looking at, right? This is the way I formulate everything. So Bruce Zimmerman, okay. 4.79 ERA, 2 for 3, right? 2 and 3, not setting the world on fire here. He's just not. Look at his innings pitched. He's below 5, below that Mendoza line, giving up a ton of hits, a lot of earned runs, doesn't strike out a lot. Again, this is the perfect time to pounce, right? You have to look at the pitching matchups. You have to look at who they're going up against. It's one of the biggest things that you want to see. And Juan Soto has been able to turn it on. Now, I will tell everybody this, that for me, in the beginning of the year, and I'm going to still stand by it, when everybody was on Ronald Acuna Jr., I said personally, for me, my number one fantasy player offensively was going to be Juan Soto. And it's got to be Acuna. I just think Juan Soto is in the position to do so much for that Washington team. They're going to lean on him so much. And there's a lot of bats, even though Acuna is unbelievable, but Soto's going to have to do it all. And he's starting to do that, right? He's finally starting to do that. He had a rough, really, I wouldn't say rough, but really slow in the beginning, right? But again, he's starting to pick those numbers up, and this guy does it all, right? Let's face it, he does it all. He's almost getting that average up to 300, which is what you like to see. But I don't know if you noticed the other night when he went down. See, that's the thing about him, is being a left-handed power bat. He can go down in the zone and he can flip his hips quicker than a lot of people in Major League Baseball, which means when they're throwing that two-seamer that's cutting in, he can open up like no other. Another, one of those things is the ability to go down and not hit a ball out of the dirt, but when you open up your hips, and any baseball guy will tell you this, you're when you open them up, your power on your back shoulder is going to lack. Well, that doesn't happen with Juan Soto. When he opens up, he can quickly go down, dig that ball out. He did it the other night, and he hit it 400 feet. So Juan Soto, to me, he is 100% on my radar today. Look, you can see the announcer right there, 10 homer drought. He comes out, hits a blast the other night, and I think he's going to continue. And a guy against Zimmerman, a matchup against Zimmerman, I think, is undoubtedly what he needs to continue this streak going. He double digits in 2 out of 3 games. I think today's another double digit guy. 5,800 for me. I'm going in. And again, he's again a guy who's still going to give me points. I look at, you don't see zeros of Juan Soto's name. And again, if you guys are starting to understand the way I formulate these cores, I don't like zeros. I just don't like. Listen, I would much rather take a shot on a guy at 3,000, get me a 0 than a guy at 6. So I'm looking at guys who give me consistent points. So that's where I'm going with that. Let's see, real fast. We're going to go back and one more of the core. Okay, another guy to core is Framil Reyes, another guy who's going to give you consistent points. Now, I like this matchup today in a play against Kent Miata. I do. So one thing that I look at, and let's go on this game. Okay, we'll go to the Cleveland game because I like to do this. At least I can show you guys, what I'm looking at. So going on, Kent Miata throws a lot of good stuff, but he also doesn't always have command. So, his bat to ball rate is very high. It's above 50%. His contact rate against opposing hitters is in the upper echelon, of offensive categories. So I like this matchup a lot. If you look at what he's done over the he's only had one good game out of the last 5. Let's face it, right? He's barely got past 5 innings. So Kenta Miata, for me, is not pitching very well, and his ERA is soaring, and now it's above 5. So this is a time to pounce. And I don't know why he's at 8,300. I would never even pay for that as a pitcher. I really don't get that. Okay, but Reyes offers you a lot. I'm going to bring him up again. So Fernando Reyes offers you, again, consistent production. If you look at his stats again, you don't see any zeros. You see the trend, right? No zeros in my core. So no zeros in my core. And he's able to hit for average when he wants to. Now, he does strike out a little more often than I would like. But if you see where I'm going with this core, you're paying up big money for Castellanos. You're paying up big money for Soto. And then you get that third guy just under that 5,000 mark that could possibly give you the same production, if not more, with a good pitching matchup, which is what Fernando Reyes has. So I'm going to go Fernando Reyes as the third part of my core. So right now, you're looking at a core of Castellanos, Soto, and Fernando Reyes. That is my core for the 4 p.m. slate, the 7-game slate. So let's type that in because I like to keep everybody going. So we got 4 p.m. slate core. I need an engineer with me, man. Is we got Castellanos. And again, see, this is the thing when you're doing this live, and you have to type and make sure you have the name right, because you're gonna have the grammar police that come out and say, "Yo, you spelled that name wrong," because they're out there, they're sitting there looking at the screen and they want to hit you up. So 4 p.m. slate core. There you go. You got Castellanos, Soto, and Reyes, and then what we're gonna do is 4 p.m. arms. Is again, we're going to go McCullers. Let me get this right. And Singer. So now, I forgot to be on the screen. McCullers, Singer. So now everybody has who we're looking at as our core. So now let's look at some value guys, right? Let's look at some. We're about 26 minutes. We got about 20 minutes left. I want to get a lot more talk in today, but again, got the honeydew list, got it going on. So I want to be there for you guys as well. So let's look at some of these value plays. So not necessarily always a value, but Austin Riley's been smacking the cover off the ball. Smacking the absolute cover off the ball. Okay, so again, when I'm looking at the pitching matchups, I like the matchup up against Max Keller. I do. I like it. So I honestly think that is a matchup that can be exploited. And when you're building your lineups, you what you have to do is, or I just call him Max. I'm sorry, Mitch. But I like this matchup. I like the matchup a lot because he's an inconsistent pitcher. And I'm going to go with the flip-flop here. We're not to go back in the day or like hopscotch method here, but look, good game, bad game, good game, bad game, good game. Oh, odds are, we're not talking Pythagorean theorem here. We're just talking about odds. Odds are he's going to have a bad game today, right? That's all I'm going by. Now I'm also going by that he gets hit around a lot. Right. And for a guy in Austin Riley who's in a really good lineup, he gets to see maximum pitches. Right. He gets to see really, really good pitch. When you're in a lineup that consists of Acuna and Albies and Ozuna, and Freddie Freeman, guys are going to want to pitch around those guys against you. And then you still got Dansby Swanson that you have to kind of figure out what guy you're going to pick as a pitcher to pitch to. And a lot of times that's Austin Riley. And I think he's very favorably priced at 4,200. And if you look at what last night was just an aberration, right? 20 runs. So I'm not going to stack the Braves today. I see a lot of people talk about stacking. I'm not stacking Braves today only because, the odds are when you throw a 20-point game out, 20-run game, it's going to be a letdown the following day. So maybe Sunday we could stack Atlanta, but today I'm going to lean against it. But Austin Riley won 4 of the last 5 games, double digits. He's got 4 home runs in the last 5 games. He's batting over 3 times. This kid's starting to hit well. And again, remember we talked about looking beyond the numbers. The numbers jumped today. His salary went from $3,900 to $4,200. So he jumped $300. I'm still paying out for Austin Riley because I still think I want to ride that train. He's hot right now. And for me, he's a guy we want to look at because, again, he's going to see a lot of pitches because of the guys in front of him and behind him. He's in a really good spot in that lineup. And I'm sorry, Mitch, not going to be able to get my boy Austin out today. So we talked about Josh Harrison A lot. And again, he's another guy that doesn't always give you zeros. $3,500. We already talked about the matchup with Bruce Zimmerman. We talked about that's why I took Soto. So I think today with Harrison, it's the same kind of concept. I just think that Washington's going to have a good all-around offensive day. So because of that, I like to take a guy who does a lot and multi-hit games, could steal a base, get a walk, extra base hit. And that's kind of what Josh Harrison gives you. Right now in his career, that's who he is. But he's just batting under 300, so he's always getting a bat on the ball. But again, just look, 85033. One game is 0. Again, 4 out of 5 he's scoring, 3 or above, 3,500. If he gets you 5 to 10, you're already ahead of the game. So right now for me, look at that guy right there. Look at his production. And Josh Harrison, a good filler at the end of your line, 3,500 for some good value. Here's another one. I liked it. Nico Goodrum. Now, I know I'm taking Brady Singer as a pitcher, but that doesn't mean that he can't give up any hits, right? Doesn't mean that he can't give up any hits. So secretly, there's some guys in this Detroit lineup that are starting to show that they can contribute in many ways, whether it be on the base pass or whether it be in the batting box. And Goodrum to me is one of those cats that even if he only gets you one hit a game, so say he gets you a double and then he scores a run and he gets a walk and steals a base, you're already looking at a 5 to 7 point output. So again, he's a guy on the come up. I know his salary's at $4,000. It's a little high, but depending on how your confidence level is in him stealing a base or two today, which I think Brady Singer has a pretty long delivery, which means he can be run up against. So that's another reason why he's one of my value guys. I think he could steal multiple bases today. So that's one thing to keep an eye out. So if he gets you a hit, steals a couple bags, gets a walk, scores a run, you're already ahead of the game. For $4,000, if you can get a higher end above 5 point total, like an 8, a 9, or a 10, I think it's a good day. So another good value, I think. And here's the other guy who doesn't get enough love. Like, when Alex first came out, so Kirilloff came out and nobody knew who he was. And everybody took a shot on him. It was below the Mendoza line. I think he started out like 2,500 when we talk about DraftKings. And then he just starts setting the world on fire, right? Then he goes and gets hurt. Now, he's a big swing and miss guy. I'm not, remember the name Adam Dunn. For all you Cincinnati Red fans, remember the name Adam Dunn. Remember his name because what he did was struck out a ton. 40 home runs with bat 199, right? So we know all about that. That's kind of like Kirilloff was going to give you. So Kirilloff is going to strike out a ton. And you see 2 of his games a few days ago, 6 strikeouts in 2 games. That's not going to help you. But here's the thing. He still hit a home run in that game. So how do you get a guy, a DFS guy, who strikes out 3 times and still winds up with a 20? That's the guy I'm targeting. That's the guy. And he's at 3,700. Okay, 3,700. He's under 4,000. I mean, we just talked about a guy in Goodrum at 4,000. So there's your difference, right? So it all depends on how you want to formulate your lineup. I don't build lineups here. I give you cores and values. And Kirilloff has to be a value play on your team. No, 100%. He is so consistent. I mean, come on, 14, 18, 20, 14, 34. The guy's consistently in double-digit points. He might get you more than Juan Soto today at 3,700. So he's a guy that you have to play. Under all circumstances, get Kirilloff in your lineup. So I do a little something fun here. And we do the go long for under 4,000. We're gonna get to that in a little bit because I want to flip to the 7 o'clock slate. So again, gave you the core guys, gave you the value guys, Austin Riley, Kirilloff, Harrison, Goodrum. They're my value guys today. You got the orange and McCullers and Singer, and then you're going Soto, Castellanos, and Reyes as your core. So they're the guys I'm looking at for the 4 o'clock slate. So now let's switch over. And we're going to switch over to the 7 o'clock slate again. And this, just so you know, this is just my fun stuff. I have multiple DraftKings accounts. I just mess around, throw a couple dollars in this account and just let it ride, like a couple dollars here, because I love formulating, just having fun formulating these lineups. So that's what it's all about. So let's see who we got here. All right. So, oh man, hold on. All right, there we go. So here's another interesting viewpoint. Okay. we talked about, do we pay off for an arm? Do we pay not for an arm? So I think in this slate right here, you 100% undoubtedly have to pay off for Walker Buehler. What Buehler has been able to do has been nothing short of electric. Going up against a San Francisco team who strikes out a ton, even though they're having success when it comes to the standings in the West out there. What I will say is, National League West, what I will say is they strike out a ton. I think they have a 34% strikeout rate, which is pretty massive game to game. So Walker Buehler, he's a K machine. So for 11,000, I actually would probably pay 11.5 for Walker Buehler today if I had to. So for me, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. So now, because we're paying up, I got to give you guys, a solid value arm, and I think it's Bassett for Oakland. I do. I like Chris Bassett a lot. He's one of my guys that I've started numerous times. Again, don't look at the last game, because listen, you cannot always have a brilliant game every time. The reason why his salary is $7,800. But he's going up against the LA Angels team today. Number one, his counterpart straight off against Dylan Bundy has been horrendous over the last 4 games. He's going up against a lineup that's going to be without Mike Trout, who, again, Jarrett Walsh is a nice play. Justin Upton, very inconsistent, right? So Rendon, listen, this is a time to pounce, right? So when you look at this game, I want to pull this off for you, which I'm looking at, because I think this is a really good value, okay, at this money. So, again, you're looking at who he's going to – now, I'm a big Jarrett Walsh guy, right? But you got to say Jarrett Walsh going to get his. Jarrett Walsh going to get his. That's what you always say. Jarrett Walsh is going to get his. You have to say that, all right? You have to say Jarrett Walsh going to get his, because he's that kind of player, okay? But, again – when you're going up against a lineup that's going to be without Mike Trout, they obviously, I know Albert Pujols wasn't anything, and they let him go to the Dodgers, but they're trying to formulate this lineup and get it consistent. Now, Ohtani, a beast. Again, he will get his, but I think it's a good spot for Bassett, who's had double-digit strikeouts, I should say, and we'll throw this up there. So he had double-digit strikeouts and close. Listen, 8, 9, 7, 10, right? So double-digit strikeouts. He again against Boston. Boston with that lineup, with Bogarts, with Devers, with Martinez, right? The list goes on for Boston, and you strike out 10 Red Sox, you got it going on. So I'm going to bank up for $7,800. I think it's an extreme value for Chris Bassett today. So I think if you throw Buehler out there, you can bang out Bassett as you do. So my 2 arms in the late slate are going to be Buehler, because I think he's locked down, and Bassett, extreme value. So now let's go CORES. This was an interesting one to me, because I think there's a couple stack options here, and let me pull them up. So I think one of your stack options is San Diego, because going up against Sheffield, who, listen, he does get good strikeout rate, but the problem is he's not consistent enough for me. And he's playing in San Diego. He's a better pitcher at home. So I have to look at that piece when I'm doing these lines, and I think it's a really good stack potential. I do. And there's a lot of value on the San Diego side. A lot of value. So, and that being said, my number one core player today in the 7 o'clock slate is Fernando Tatis Jr. Look at what he's done over the past. Listen, he's another guy. You had 3 guys at the top. You have Acuna, you have Tatis, you have Soto. They're the future of this sport. Okay, besides Ohtani, obviously, but when you're talking about these young bats, I mean, look what he's done. Okay, 16, 21, 34, 32. The last 3 straight games with a home run. Now, do I expect him to hit another home run today? No, but I expect him to do multifaceted things within that stacked lineup. So he at least gives you 20 for me today. And that's a stolen base. That's a double, couple RBIs, 2 runs scored. Maybe throw a walk in there as well. Maybe throw a, but he's going to do a lot today. Really good matchup. So for me, Fernando Tatis is number 1 in my core for 7 o'clock. Now, again, if you look at some of these, there's a lot of value if you want to stack when it comes to this team. If you want to stack, I'm going to show you something right here. So, Hae-Sung Kim who probably you're going to say absolutely blows. Okay. That's what you're going to tell me. And you're probably right. But let me just show you something, guys. These are the secret jewels of the DraftKings formulation. Look at this chart right here. 12, 5, 7, 11, and 4, which are fantasy points. Look at this number, fellas. 2,200. And ladies, I'm sorry, but 2,200. Explain to me how you pass that up. When you're doing a lineup, and we just talked about paying up for Walker Buehler at 11,000, you 100% need a guy like Ha-Seong Kim in your lineup for 2,200 that's going to get you points. And I'm telling you, listen, this cat, if you just scroll down, look at him. You see any zeros in there? No. There are no zeros there. 14, 11, 7, 5, and 12. He is 100% undoubtedly one of my top, if not, no, he is the top value play of the day. He is the fantasy FIREBOX value play of the day. We're going to call it FFVP, right? I'm going to brand that right now. FFVP, fantasy FIREBOX value play. Ha-Seong Kim of the day, 2,200. You better lock him up. I'm going to throw it out there right now. That's a guy you need to look at. So, a lot of stack potential still in this team. Now, I'm not going Machado today. Machado hasn't had the best couple weeks, right? So, when you look at his games, listen, he is very inconsistent. He's only batting 225. He started off a little hot, and then he kind of went down. I think that's because Tatis was out for game one, and he was trying to pick up the slack. But you know Manny like I do. Manny's going to turn it off, turn it on. He's a me guy. You have to understand who he is. I don't put him in the lineup a lot. I'd rather go towards Tatis. So I think, to me, Tatis is that guy. Now, if you want to go Cronenworth, again, as a stack guy, I think he's another eligible play. Again, only a 4,800. He's going to give you multifaceted tools within your offensive lineup. He's going on a game. He's hit 2 home runs in the past 2 games. Will he make it a 3? I don't know. It's a really good matchup against Sheffield, though. So, Cronenworth, again, 32, 14, 13, 10, 5. He's got the numbers, right? So, 4,800. So just say you wanted to stack. Here's the way I look at it. Say you wanted to stack Tatis at 5,900, Cronenworth at 4,800, right? So you're right 10-7 right there. And then you in Ha-Seong Kim in there, right, for 2,200. And now you're at 12,000 for 3 guys that probably are going to give you close to 70 points, right? Which could be possible. If not, maybe they give you 40, but still for $12,000, you can't go wrong. So that's a sneaky stack. I'm actually going to put that in there. Okay, we're going to go Tatis, and I'll type this in at the end. Cronenworth, I like this. And Kim. That's why I like to do these things on the fly with you guys. Tatis, Cronenworth, Kim. For me, that is a secret, sneaky stack. So let's move on because, man, we're already at 42 minutes, fellas. We're at 42 minutes. I could go hours, man. I could go hours. So let's move on. And another team that I like, again, we talked about Dylan Bundy getting bounced around over the last couple weeks, last couple starts. So I'm really liking what I see from the Oakland numbers. I'm liking what I see from the Oakland numbers. So I definitely have Matt Olson on my radar, 4,800. He's been pretty exceptional. If you, oh man, well, it's all blued out. All right, there we go. Olson's a home run guy, right? And again, he could give you a 0. You never know. But I think today against Dylan Bundy, who's going to lay some balls over the plate, he's going to be in and around the strike zone enough to where it's not going to be pitcher friendly. It's going to be hitter friendly. So I like Matt Olson today. And I'll tell you a secret value play for me for Oakland is Seth Brown. Seth Brown's only 2,900, right? He's a bat the ball guy. He's going to do nothing except hit home runs. That's it. So he's either going to give you nothing or he's going to give you a lot. He's going to strike out a ton too. But for 2,900, under 3,000, right? I think that's a really good value play because it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't hurt you, especially if you're able to get that $12,000 stack with San Diego. You could formulate a lineup between a San Diego stack and an Oakland stack and still be able to get Buehler in there, right? Still be able to bank on Buehler. So I think that's, again, I think that's something that you really need to look at. Now, San Diego, to me, like we talked about, as a secret stack. What about the LA Dodgers as a secret stack as well? Again, I'm already pulling up a guy named Chris Taylor at 4,100. I'm all in on Chris today. Again, I think this is a nice stack for the Dodgers. So let's go to their team, and I'm going to show you why. Oh, man, allergies. I don't know if anybody suffers from allergies, but they absolutely kill me. All right, so first of all, I love Mac Muncy, but you're going up against Scott Kazmir. Are you kidding me? You might be better off with me pitching. Throw Jigsaw on the mound. Scott Kazmir stinks. Absolutely stinks, okay? So I'll tell you what, 100%. Look, I love it. This just like, are you kidding me with Scott Kazmir? Really? Are you kidding me? Like, again, he could start. It's early, right? But right now, it looks like it could be Scott Kazmir. So, and again, even if it's not Kazmir and they throw a bullpen guy out there as a spot start, this is where you want to pounce, okay? So let's look at the Dodgers value that they give you right here. So Max Muncy, he's under 5,000. Pounce. I love it. Even Mookie Betts at 5,700. Love it. Justin Turner, 4,500. But two guys that I like because, again, if you're going to pay up my core today, Fernando Tatis Jr. I'm sorry, I didn't even get you to my full core. It was Fernando Tatis Jr., Chris Bryant, who's in my core because he has been absolutely electric. Let's bring him up real fast so I can, again, I'm trying to end this on as quick as I can so I don't keep you guys strolling here. But 15, 10, 10, he's been on a tear. He's batting over 300 now. He's got a really good day today coming up against St. Louis. I think that for me, you know, there's even in that park, it's a very hitter favorable park in the sense that just not from home runs. It's a pretty wide open left center, right center capability for you. And Chris Bryant can hit the all fields. That's what's big about him. So he can stretch that single into a double. He still has speed, even as a big guy. So I think this is a really good game for Bryant to be able to get you that 15 mark. So I think he'll hover around that 15 to 20 mark today. I think it's a big day. I think he goes long as well. So my core in the 7 o'clock games is going to be Tatis. It's going to be Chris Bryant. And here goes, and I talked about Matt Olson. So Matt Olson is in my core. Okay, so Bryant, Tatis, and Olson are my core for the 4 o'clock game. Now we get into value. We already talked about the secret stack for San Diego. Let's talk about two secrets, a duo, for the Dodgers. Who, again, if you put Tatis, Bryant, and Olson in your lineups as your core, all right, you're talking 10-9 plus. You're already talking 50, almost 16 grand, right? So you're going to have to get some value plays. That's why we talked about Hae-Sung Kim in there at 2,200. But let's look at this Dodgers game because I think this is a really good game to stack. Let's go Gavin Lux and Chris Taylor. Right, I'm going to go with two guys that are Chris Taylor, 4,100, does it all. Okay, bring him up again. And this is based on who's going to be throwing out there for the San Francisco Giants, whether it be Kazmir, who absolutely stinks, or whether it be some bullpen arm that they could destroy. So Chris Taylor, another cat who does a lot. He fills up the stat board. So he does strike out a lot. I get it, but I'm not worried about that today because of who they're going to be able to face on the mound. And for 4,100, if you get double-digit fantasy points, I think that's a really good day. So I really like Chris Taylor today as a value stackable player, and I love Gavin Lux. 3,500 today, fellas. I love this kid. I do. And I know he's not a kid who's going to hit for tremendous power, but he's another kid who he's learning discipline at the plate. But what he's able to do is he's able to get multi-hit games with or I should say on the regular, right? So if you look at 1, 2, 3 out of the last 5 is multi-hit game, which he throws in a couple walks in there as well, which gives you that 12, 23, 7, 8, 10, 15. That's what I'm looking at. And again, this is all formulated on who they're going to go up against. So I think that could be a nice sneaky duo, Gavin Lux and Chris Taylor, to keep you, listen, 7,600. So if Gavin Lux gets you 12. Just say, Gavin Lux gets you 12 and Chris Taylor gets you 10. It's 22 points for 7,600. You can't always get a pitcher at 7,600. They give you 22 points. So I really like that maximum value right there with those two guys facing whoever is the stiff on the other side. Al Bundy, see you checking in. Our boy see it. Says Al Bundy greater than Dylan Bundy. Listen, Ed O'Neill. Where else do you get an Ed O'Neill reference? And on a Saturday morning, right here on Win Daily Sports. So again, we're at 50-minute mark. We're gonna go 10 minutes. We're going to go make it a full hour today because Jigsaw just loves to talk and my coffee's still warm. Okay. But what we're going to do, number one, what you're going to do is if you're watching on replay, if you're watching live, you're going to click that subscribe button on the Win Daily Sports YouTube page. You're going to click the notification bell because we got a ton of people and talent that can talk you off a ledge and can give you the right direction on how to cash every single day. And listen, I'm going to face it. One thing, the reason why I call this a fancy firebox is because my ass can take the heat. And the reason why I say that is I'm not going to win all the time, right? I ain't going to lie. We're going to be wrong. I'm going to speak for me. So do me a favor. Don't just hop in my DMs when I'm right. Hop in when I'm wrong. Tell me, yo, man, you screwed up. You were way off. All good. I formulate my lineup for the following week. I formulate my picks for the next week, and we get back on the horse. That's what it's all about. If everybody in DFS land won every single day, let's face it, they'd be on network TV somewhere with a $5 million contract because everybody would be lined up to watch them. We got number one, we do the best we can with the analysis that we can give you. But the most important thing I can tell you about Win Daily is there are multiple personalities that'll give you different analysis on every show, which is what you want. You don't want to watch everything that's exactly the same. So hit the subscription, hit the notification bell, all social formats, windailysports.com. Check out the optimizer tools that we have. Check out the premium access points that we have, the Discord chats. There's like 15 Win Daily guys, and we got 20 guys checking in, and we're constantly going back and forth. So it's never a dull moment on Win Daily Sports. So check us out. So let's finish this out with a couple things, right? Number one, we're going to do the go long for 4,000, which is I really like. So let me make sure I gave you everybody that I wanted. Yeah, I mean, I really like that. Joey Wendell to me, real fast, is a good value play today. Again, he seems to just be able to do it all. Right. I love the no batting gloves, going that Moises Alou style. You know, I love it. I love Vlad Guerrero style, no batting gloves. You got to love a guy like that. So I like Joey Wendell. I like what he's able to do. And again, just another value play, depending on how you formulate your lines. But let's do this. Let's go the go long. I'm going to stop sharing this page right here. We're going to go back to normal, and we're going to do the go long for under 4,000, right? We're going to do the go long for under 4,000. And I love this. I do. I absolutely love this. So we did this last week, and I think we hit on Danny Jansen, if I'm not mistaken. So again, this is just some fun stuff. And again, if you want to go on a DraftKings app, you want to go to the sports book and look at, what the odds are for these guys that hit home runs, be my guest, not a problem. Okay. But I'm going to go Mike Zanino. Okay, for Seattle, I'm telling you, listen, Mike Zanino to me is a guy that could go long today. I am telling you, he's a guy that could definitely go long today. So for 3,700, I really like that play. He's my go long for under 4,000. These are the guys that, and again, last week, we had a couple people check in. So if you're watching, tell me who your go long guys are under 4,000. I'm going to go Matt Duffy. I'm going to go Nick Maton. Nick Maton for 3,000 for the Phillies he came up from the minors. Nobody expected what he's been able to do. And he has multi-hit games. He has home runs. He has doubles. He even has a triple. Steals bases. The kid is, listen, I wish I could take some of Jigsaw's weight and give it to him because I need to lose, and that dude needs to gain. I mean, it looks like he's wearing John Kruk's jersey out there. It looks so goddamn big. But again, for 3,000, go long under for Nick Maton. Matt Duffy, 3,000, go long under for Gavin Lux. We already talked about him as our value. 3,500, go long under 4. And then we're going to go on the other side for the other slate. We're going to go Michael Taylor. Michael Taylor, home run in the last 2 games at 2,900. He's a go long pick for me at 2,900. Josh Naylor, 3,600. Go long under 4. Okay, who else do we have here? Adam Duvall. Adam Duvall, to me, if I didn't pick anybody on the under 4,000 list, go long for under 4,000, I think it'd be Adam Duvall today. I do 3,900. Okay, he's under that 4,000 mark. So go check out what his numbers are and throw a couple dollars on him and see what happens. But I like the Atlanta matchup. I like the Duvall right there. So for me, I really like him to go long at 3,900 for under 4,000. And how about Baltimore's Austin Hayes? Austin Hayes for under 4,000 to go long, 3,700. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is, because I took too much time typing in, so what I'm going to do is when we're done, because the best thing about StreamYard and what we use on our digital platforms is we can comment in there afterwards and they will show up in that stream. So how about this? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to type him on the stream, but in the future, we're going to type this on YouTube. So you have to go to the YouTube page in order to get this information. So we're going to, because listen, we want to bring you the best we can, and we can only do that if you guys help us, and the subscriptions help everybody. So make sure you're hitting that subscription. Make sure you're hitting the notification bell. Again, under 4,000, go long, guys. We do it every week. It's something fun. We're going to get a graphic made. I like it. I'm going to get a graphic made. And what I'm going to do is we're going to throw it like a quad box up there, and they're going to be our under 4,000 go long, guys. Now, I did want to talk some NFL. So I'm going to give a teaser. How's this? So we got 5 minutes left. So I'm a big NFL football guy, right? And let's not make no mistake about, or let's make no mistake about it. After baseball ends, or after basketball ends, listen, golf, I know my boy See It, who's second right now, tremendous golf game when it comes to DFS. He probably has a really good golf game outside too. I'm pretty sure. I probably guarantee it, he's probably hitting about 85 to 90. I wouldn't be surprised. So what I will say is there's got to be some filler, right? But I don't want it to be just no filler. I want it to be, analytical filler. So what I want to do is start breaking down position by position, player by player for the NFL fantasy season. Because make no mistake, it's May 22nd right now. Drafts are going to be starting in the next 3 to 4 weeks, right? So I understand COVID protocols push training camp back a little bit, but the NFL is going to be booming in another couple weeks. So I want to get you ready. So the teaser for tomorrow, I want to talk about 2 guys who I feel can finish in the top 10 when it comes to fantasy running backs this year, and they are DeAndre Swift and Cam Akers. And right now, their ADPs are not getting enough love. So we want to talk about that tomorrow. Why I feel is that they have every opportunity to score top dollar points inside that top 10, but for right now, for some reason they're in that top 15 looking out. They should be in that window. So again, tomorrow, same time, Fantasy Firebox on Sunday, May 23rd. We're going to talk about the overlooked NFL running backs because we didn't get to it today. We'll recap and see how our core did. Again, NFL or Major League Baseball DFS core 4 p.m. slate. We got Castellanos, Sotos, and Reyes, and then the 4 p.m. or the 7 p.m. core. Okay, we go back is going to be Chris Bryant, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Matt Olson, followed up by the two arms of Bissett and Bueller, and then we're going to go McCullers and Singer in the first slate. So again, and we're going to go long guys under 4,000. Get there, value guys. Remember those secret stacks with guys like Gavin, Lux, and Chris Taylor for the Dodgers. Remember the San Diego secret stack where you got Tatis and you can hit Hae-Sung Kim in there and Cronenworth. So there's a lot of value today on this slate. So I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. I hope everybody gets their honeydew list. And God damn it, if you're going to go to Wawa and get the free coffee, at least be respectful. Okay, and at least pay it forward and go the next day, at least buy one back to show you're just not there to get the free coffee. But as always, Tony Jigsaw Cutillo at TCutillo23. Give me a follow. Hit me up in the Discord. Win Daily Sports. As always, subscribe. And again, enjoy your Saturday, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Man, allergies kicking my ass. We'll catch you tomorrow on Sunday to see how we did. I look forward to those 1 p.m. games and some little NFL talk. All right, everybody, catch you tomorrow.